I'm Candace.
And I'm Steven.
We're from Arcana, Mind, Body, Spirit, here in Toronto, Canada.
On our last video, we discovered the power of living your life in alignment with the natural cadence of the moon. We dove into the 4 major moon phases and talked about how to best use their energies.
On today's video, we will be further dividing these 4 phases and talking about how to practically apply and integrate the information so that you can feel lasting results every 29 days.
But first, be sure that if you're interested in this video and you like what you see, hit the like and subscribe button and that notification bell so that you don't miss any of our upcoming content. And you know what? It's great karma because it means a lot to us. Let's moon!
Let's man. So let's recap from our first moon video. We have 4 major moon phases: the new moon, the waxing moon, the full moon, and the waning moon, each with a different type of energy.
The new moon is time of new beginnings, and it's the time to set your intentions for what you want to accomplish over the next 29 days.
The waxing moon is the time to do the work. It's time of speeding up and making your dreams come to pass. It's during this phase that you've got to get it done.
So 14 days later, we have the full moon, and that is the culmination of all of your efforts. And it is a time of ultimate success and celebrations with wild vibrations in the air. This is the time to howl at the moon. And it's because of this that the veil is the thinnest.
And lastly, the waning phase, where we integrate what we've created and we begin to slow down and let go of anything that is no longer serving us.
All right, onwards, we forge. We are going to further divide the waxing and waning phases in half. Right in the center, we are going to put our half moons, okay? So the one between the new moon and the full moon during the waxing phase is referred to as the first quarter moon. And opposing that, between our full moon and our new moon during the waning phase, we have our third quarter moon.
Okay, I'm going to be adding 2 different words to your moon vocabulary. One is very common. It's known as the crescent moon. Now, we have 2 different types of crescent moon.
If you take your hands and you make C shapes, your right hand, that is what a waxing crescent moon looks like. This takes place directly after the new moon. Okay, this is often referred to as the most iconic shape in art and photography, and anytime it comes to lunary depictions, you can really see that crescent moon. Okay, so if we're looking at the energy of the waxing crescent, it is probably the most poetic as well, because it refers to taking action towards new beginnings. This is why many people who observe natural cycles often wear a crescent moon piece of jewelry or have maybe a body art tattoos that depict this phase, because it always refers to the new beginnings.
I had a stripper once that had a crescent moon tattoo.
We'll see if we keep that.
Now, let's make a C shape with our left hand. This is the shape of your waning crescent moon. And we're going to place this on the other side of the new moon. Again, a beautiful shape, but rather than manifesting, it works with a different kind of energy. This moon is going to be about healing and integrating, which is a completely different energy than its counterpart.
Okay, so the next word that we're going to add to your moon vocabulary is gibbous. Okay, this refers to the shape of the moon when it is larger than half, but not quite full. Okay, so we are going to call the phase between the first quarter and the full moon, this is your waxing gibbous moon. And opposing that, we are going to say that between your full moon going toward your third quarter moon, this is your waning gibbous moon.
So now we know the entire moon cycle. We have new moon,
The waxing crescent,
first quarter moon,
the waxing gibbous,
full moon,
waning gibbous moon,
third quarter moon,
the waning crescent moon,
and back to new moon. Wow.
That's a cycle.
It is.
Okay, so often spiritual practitioners will add a final phase to the moon cycle, which has been somewhat ambiguous and varied based on different farmers' almanacs or ancient traditions. This is known as the dark moon. Nowadays, dark moon refers to the time surrounding the new moon, kind of in a generic way. We just call it the dark moon. But traditionally, it stood for the period when no direct sunlight was being reflected by the moon towards the earth. Okay, and this lasts approximately only 24 hours, and it's right before the new moon takes place.
So if your schedule can allow for it, this is the best time of the month to rest. It's a very healing time during your subconscious hours and can be a great time to ask for healing or guidance before setting your new moon intentions hours later. That being said, it is often a very low energy day with unfavorable progress-oriented results. So those who practice moon work, including ourselves, swear by adding this day of rest to your practice.
Yeah, even if that means you just don't make huge decisions on that day. You just don't, it's a day to just chill.
Yeah, just be.
Just take a step back.
Yeah.
So why don't we talk about what the energy is specifically for each one of these phases of the moon. The first one, we have the new moon. We talked about this a little bit last week. During this time, the moon is between the earth and the sun, and it appears dark in the sky. And it's during this time that we work on our new beginnings. This is the day where we set our intentions. So, what do you want in your life? What are things that you're trying to achieve? It's now where you want to declare these intentions. But again, remember to be specific and tangible because we only have 14 days to get it done before the full moon.
Next is the waxing crescent. This phase lasts for 7 days. During this time, the moon is growing and signifies action. It's time to plan how you're going to get to your goal in the next 14 days. Having an intention is great, but without a plan of action, it's just a dream. So discover what skills you need to acquire. What timelines are you working with? Is anyone else responsible for your success? And if so, are they on board? You have 7 days in this period of time, and then your energy shifts.
So after that is the first quarter moon. This is when half of the moon is in light and the other half is in shadow. This moon phase signifies decision making. What have you discovered as you leapt into action and made all the plans necessary to get what you intended on your new moon? You may have found that you may have bit off more than you could chew, or maybe you found that success is closer than you imagined. This is your time to regroup and make any decisions necessary in order to drive your objective home. This step is often missed in the manifestation game and is where most people just give up. It's like a New Year's resolution where when you don't hit your targets, you just end up giving up on the whole thing. On a first quarter moon, there is no shame in redirecting. If in the end you end up getting your intention, does it really matter how you got there? This is also the time when you want to reach out and get help, and often two heads are better than one.
Our fourth phase is the waxing gibbous moon, which lasts 7 days and leads up to the full moon. This is go time, push. If you put pen to paper last week in planning, this week is your course of action. It's energetically one of the most potent times of the cycle, so challenge yourself. How far can you actually go this week? If you've reached your goal, how much further can you go? If you are nowhere near your goal, don't stop. Allow the magic of the moon to get you back on course and maybe reveal something to you that you never thought you had in you. You'll be amazed at how much you can achieve during the waxing gibbous. But here's a tip from a master manifester. Just because you have the energy to take on more, stay focused on the task at hand. If you split your focus, you might find yourself walking down the wrong path.
All right, so now we are on phase number 5. This is the midway point. Everyone's favorite, the full moon. I mean, who doesn't love a good old full moon? All of us at some point in our life have gazed up in awe and felt its pull. I remember my grandmother's love for the moon was one of my first childhood memories, actually. It's a really big part of my childhood. So what is it? When the moon is fully illuminated, it signifies celebration and release. It's time to seal those intentions. Pat yourself on the back for a job well done. How close did you come to getting what you wanted? Even if you didn't make it, tonight we salute your effort. Also, the full moon shifts the energy into the next phase, which is all about releasing. It's a great time to release something that may have held you back in getting your intention in the first place. Now, there are numerous ways to release your intention, and on next week's video, we're actually going to be walking through that with you. Now, here's another pro tip. When releasing energy, always call in a type of energy to fill the space that you are releasing. For example, if you are releasing procrastination, you need to call in motivation. This is because when you remove energy, it can kind of leave like a vortex open, and it's going to fill itself with whatever energy is surrounding you. So make sure that energy that you call in is intentional.
Now we're on the waning side of the moon cycle. This takes us to phase number 6, which is the waning gibbous moon. Again, this lasts for 7 days after the full moon, and this is your best time to work on integration. This is the time to take what you manifested and place it into your life. Just because you got a new car doesn't mean you got a garage to park it in. There is work that goes into having your dreams come true, and often this integration, if not made a focus on your attention, can become a point of resentment. Often the phrase, "be careful what you wish for," is thrown around when this happens. All manifestations require integration.
Yes.
So use this time to get organized to ensure lasting results and stability with what you have achieved.
Moving on, phase number 7 is the third quarter moon. This is the opposite of the first quarter, when the other half of the moon is in shadow and the other half is in light. This moon signifies gratitude and forgiveness. On this day, it is a great practice to do some gratitude work. Do something to give back. Was there maybe someone who helped you along the way to get your intention this month? Or maybe was there someone who helped you heal along the way and release something? You should do your part to give back and make sure that their efforts are recognized. Also, sometimes this can mean forgiveness. It could mean that maybe someone who stood in your way of your goal, maybe they got some backlash as you achieved greatness. This is a good time to make it up to them. And this could also mean that, you know, that like long-standing grudge against that person, you set an intention to like, I'm gonna move beyond that person. You also have to do some release work and gratitude work there, because without that, you wouldn't be who you are trying to become. So maybe it's time you let that out, you let that go, and make space for the next cycle, because you never know, you may end up needing their help in the long run. However you practice, make sure gratitude is a part of your third quarter phase.
Next, we move into phase number 8. We're almost there. This is the waning crescent moon, the last 7 days of our moon cycle. This is when the last crescent begins to disappear. It's usually so pretty, just a sliver of silver hanging in the sky. This signifies the time of surrender. It's time for healing yourself. This is a great time for reading that book you wanted to finish, for taking that long bath with a glass of wine in hand. It's really about you and servicing you. What does your body need as we prepare for the next cycle, which is only days away? Please don't feel pressured to get the work done here. In fact, it may be even harder to get motivated, and you may even notice things popping up and getting in your way. This is the time to worship everything you are, and you will be supercharged for the coming new moon.
Lastly, we have that hotly debated dark moon. It's our 24-hour window of rest. If you can, try your best to sleep longer on that day. You will have messages come through, your sleep will be far more restful, and you'll actually find that your inner reserves are far more refilled and ready to go for the next cycle when the new moon arrives the very next day. Okay, Candace, so out of all of these phases, which is the easiest one for you to forget about?
It would be phase 6, which was the waning gibbous integration. So I have experienced like going for it, doing all the work, and like getting it, being grateful, but then sometimes it doesn't really work out the way that I wanted, or it seems to like teeter off because I haven't done the integration part. Like I haven't figured out how to, like, although I'm open and there's space there, I don't know how it fits into my life. So I need to, even if it's like taking some time to even just when I'm imagining and thinking about things I want to manifest, like how it actually is going to fit into my life, not just get it.
Yeah.
Right? Like if someone handed me $1 million, what would I do with it? Would I be able to use it in the best way?
Yeah.
You know, or would it just be sitting there waiting for me to use it because now I have to figure out exactly how to get, like I see point A and I see point D and I kind of like forgot like how to like get over there. So I think I need to remind myself to do that. And it's really easy just to jump to new moon, full moon, and then you kind of, you know what I mean? So it's those ones in between, particularly integration for me, it's easy to forget. What about you?
For me, I say about like phase 8, right down when you get to that waning crescent. I think as someone who lives an urbanite lifestyle, it is almost impossible to be like, sorry, for the next 7 days, I'm just gonna chill. I'm gonna surrender. I'm just not gonna do work. I mean, when your schedule is like, you have a big event, you have to go do this thing, and it's a week of surrender, I often don't notice it. And I'm like, oh, new moon's next week. And I probably should have spent like 5 days before, like, again, like having that extra glass of wine and like caring for myself and doing a face mask and stuff instead of like staying up till 2 in the morning writing. Right? So that for me sometimes slips, where some of the other phases, it just comes more naturally for me to like want to set the intention, do the work, put it in my life, like those kind of things. But then when it's like, no, take time for yourself.
I have no problem with doing it.
In fact, she'll do it for 29 days of the cycle.
Oh, yes. Like, today looks a glorious day for nap.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a great lover for myself.
All right, that's it for today. On our next video, we're going to show you how we would take an intention and work it through an entire cycle. We'll talk about how to practically apply these skills of the moon in regards to ceremony so we can really do that work.
So be sure to hit that like, subscribe, and the notification bell if you like this content and it's been interesting for you or useful. And please comment below and let us know your thoughts on the moon and maybe what you would like to see manifest in your life on the next new moon.
On Wednesday, we'll be diving back into our moon sign series, returning this week with our fire moon signs. And if you haven't had your chart pulled before, please head over to www.arcanamindbodyspirit.com and purchase a virtual natal chart journey with us so that you can discover the different layers that make up who you are.
And on Friday, we are again going to continue with our Goddess series. We're really excited about that. We hope you guys are enjoying that as much as we are. So enjoy your moon work, Soul Circle, and we will see you on our next episode.
Much love.